So going down Franconia Ridge at the end there of the Appalachian Trail portion of it was not nearly as difficult as going up. But what was interesting is that it ended the same way that it began with flight. This glider, just as I started going down, this glider came by, wasn't making any noise. I saw it in the distance, didn't know what it was, but it was so beautiful to watch as it just uh, just zoomed by. And what was fascinating for me is that my Franconia Ridge experience, I realized, both began and ended in flight. Well, going down wasn't as difficult as going up. There are sections on the trail here that, as you can see, are pretty difficult, and they did slow us down. But what was most fascinating about this area here was we had a visitation at the bottom of it from an animal. It turned out to be my favorite animal encounter on the entire Appalachian Trail so far. So this is a gray jay, and I did a little research on gray jays after the fact and found out that they are unique in that they do not fly south for the winter. So they're kind of scavengers. They squirrel away as much food as they possibly can in the spring and summer months, and they're known to kind of go into camps and take food from campers and anything they can get and store it away for the winter. And I learned I probably shouldn't be feeding them, but I have to tell you, to have a wild bird eating out of your hand is truly a unique and wonderful experience. The next morning found us on top of Mount Guyot and going over Z Cliff Ridge, which was interesting. This is the area between Franconia Ridge and the Presidentials. Those are the two well known areas. So this is not as well known, but there were some sweeping, beautiful views like this one that just captured me. I wasn't expecting anything, and then to have these wonderful views was really nice. And there was a certain part here where it being overcast, I think, enhanced our feel for the day. This sky felt as though it was going to envelop us. It was really quite beautiful. This is Zealand Cliffs. One of the great things about the White Mountains is the hut system, which is run by the Appalachian Mountain Club, or the AMC as it's commonly known. And what they are is the huts are very basic cabin like structures that are self sustaining, run on solar power, have composting toilets, very basic. And because the AMC is very conscientious about leaving everything, leave no trace and wanting to do no damage to the mountains, they pack in all food and pack out all garbage and leftover food. So what's interesting is they don't like to pack out food. They like it to all be eaten, and any leftovers from the night before or from breakfast can be had by thru hikers if they ask nicely. So we were very fortunate at the Zealand hut here to
Thank
get
you
some
so much.
Yeah,
This is
leftovers.
incredible.
help
Thank you.
yourselves to all of this if you please. And yeah,
Thank you so much.
yep.
Super nice. Wow.
So before we went into the White Mountains, we had heard a lot of negative things about the AMC, the Appalachian Mountain Club, and just their treatment of through hikers. And I have to tell you, we found the exact opposite to be true. We found they were so kind and welcoming to us, and just went out of their way. You saw the way they treated us for lunch there. We went in asking for scraps, and they gave us an entire turkey dinner. We were stuffed when we went out of there, and we found the same thing at every hut we stopped at. And maybe it was just our luck. We stopped at the right huts and got at the right time and got the right people. But I was so impressed with the organization and the kindness of the people there that they hired that I joined the AMC and am now a proud member of the Appalachian Mountain Club. The end of this day in this section were just a wonderful 5 mile section or so of flat. And it was so nice to have this after many days of ups and downs and boulder hopping and climbing, to have this kind of nice flat section to just ease out of the day. It was really a nice treat. After the flat section there, we came out into Crawford Notch, which has a road on it, which leads to an AMC center called the Highland Center, which is a wonderful facility that has a nice little cabin for hikers with bunk beds. And it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't overly expensive. For a fee, we got to stay in the bunkhouse and got all you can eat breakfast and all you can eat dinner, and just got to rest. And when we woke up the next morning, actually, it was overcast and foggy, and we were about to go to the presidential. So we decided, you know what? Let's do the presidentials in a nicer day, and let's take a zero. So we actually ended up taking another zero here and really enjoyed ourselves.